You wake up in the morning, go through your daily routine, and yet something feels off. The energy you once had seems to have faded, the excitement for life has dulled, and no matter how much you try to shake it off, a quiet sense of unhappiness lingers in the background. You tell yourself it's just stress or maybe part of getting older, but deep down, you know it's something more. The truth is, feeling stuck, drained, or unhappy doesn't just happen overnight. It's the result of small, unnoticed changes, habits that slowly chip away at your joy, relationships that drain your energy, routines that make life feel repetitive and unfulfilling. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're doing it. But here's the good news. Once you recognize what's making you miserable, you can change it. You don't have to accept feeling this way. You don't have to let life become smaller, duller, or less meaningful. You have more power than you think to reshape your happiness, your energy, and your future. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 hidden reasons why you might be feeling miserable every day, along with the exact steps to break free. Some of these may surprise you, some may hit close to home, but by the end, you'll see just how much control you have over how you feel and what you can do, starting today, to bring joy, purpose, and excitement back into your life. And if you're ready to take back your happiness, hit like and subscribe, because your best days aren't behind you, they're still ahead. You don't notice it at first. It starts with small things: turning down an invitation, skipping a phone call, assuming you'll catch up with friends another time. At the moment, it seems harmless. Life gets busy, routines take over, and the effort to stay in touch with people feels like something you'll get around to eventually. But before you realize it, the days turn into weeks, the weeks into months, and suddenly your world feels a little quieter, a little emptier. Loneliness doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, disguised as comfort. The more time you spend alone, the easier it becomes to convince yourself that you don't need as much social interaction, that you're just fine on your own. But deep down, something feels off. The silence in your home starts to feel heavier. The moments that used to be filled with laughter, conversation, and connection are replaced with long stretches of solitude. And the worst part? You might not even realize how much you miss people until you find yourself struggling with unexplained sadness, fatigue, or a sense that something is missing from your life. Humans are wired for connection. Our brains, our emotions, even our physical health depend on social interaction. Studies show that people with strong social networks live longer, have lower risks of depression, and even maintain better cognitive function as they age. But when social connections start to fade, something inside us shifts. Loneliness isn't just an emotional state. It's a real, measurable risk to both mental and physical health. And yet many people, especially as they get older, find themselves drifting into isolation without realizing it. Some assume that friendships naturally fade over time, that relationships become harder to maintain, or that it's normal to spend more time alone as life changes. Others feel like they're the only ones struggling, so they stay silent. But the truth is, so many people feel the same way. They're just waiting for someone else to reach out first. Maybe you've felt this yourself. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, "I don't want to bother anyone," or "if they wanted to talk, they'd call me." Maybe you've told yourself that you're just more comfortable alone now, even though deep down you miss the connection you once had. The good news? It's never too late to rebuild your social life. No matter how much time has passed, no matter how disconnected you feel, you can take steps, starting today, to reconnect with others and bring back the warmth of meaningful relationships. It begins with small, intentional actions. Send a message to an old friend. Make the phone call you've been putting off. Say yes to an invitation, even if your first instinct is to decline. The people in your life don't need grand gestures. They just need to know you still care, that you're thinking of them, that the connection is still there. And if your current social circle feels distant, don't be afraid to seek out new connections. Join a group that shares your interests, take a class, start a new hobby that puts you around like-minded people. Some of the best friendships in life are formed later than you expect. The hardest part is breaking the habit of isolation. The longer you stay in it, the harder it feels to step out. But once you do, once you start letting people back in, Once you remember what it feels like to share laughter, stories, and experiences, you'll wonder why you ever let yourself drift away in the first place. And if you needed a sign to reconnect, this is it. Say yes. Take the first step. Because no one is meant to go through life alone. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below. What's one small step you can take today to reconnect with someone? And if you haven't yet, hit like and subscribe, because building a happier, more connected life starts with moments like this. There's a common misconception that feeling tired all the time is just a natural part of aging. That as the years go by, it's normal to wake up sluggish, to feel drained in the afternoon, and to have less motivation to do the things you once enjoyed. But what if I told you that the exhaustion, the lack of energy, the foggy mind, and even the aching joints aren't just caused by age, but by inactivity? A sedentary lifestyle creeps in quietly. It starts with small things, choosing to sit instead of walk, spending long hours in front of a screen or inside the house, gradually doing less and less physical activity because it feels easier that way. Over time, the body adapts. The muscles weaken, circulation slows, metabolism drops, and before you realize it, even simple tasks feel harder than they used to. You might not think of sitting too much as a real problem, but the truth is, a lack of movement is one of the biggest threats to your energy, mood, and overall health. The body was designed to move, to stretch, to engage in daily activity. When that stops, it's like a machine left unused. It starts to rust, slow down, and break down piece by piece. One of the first things inactivity affects is your energy levels. Many people assume that avoiding movement conserves energy, but it does the opposite. When you move less, your blood circulation slows, delivering less oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and brain. This leads to a constant feeling of tiredness, even if you're getting enough sleep. Over time, your body begins to think that low energy is the default state, making it even harder to break out of the cycle. But the effects don't stop there. Physical inactivity has a direct impact on mental health. When you're not moving, your body produces fewer mood-boosting chemicals like endorphins and serotonin. This leads to an increase in stress, anxiety, and even depression. You might notice that you feel less motivated, less excited about things, and more prone to feelings of boredom or frustration. The connection between the body and mind is undeniable. When movement stops, so does a major source of natural happiness. Then, of course, there are the long-term health risks. A sedentary lifestyle increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and even cognitive decline. Studies show that people who sit for long periods of time each day are more likely to develop chronic illnesses, have weaker immune systems, and experience a more rapid decline in mobility as they age. But here's the most important thing. This decline isn't inevitable. Just because inactivity has taken a toll doesn't mean it has to continue. Even small, consistent movements can reverse years of sedentary habits and bring back energy, strength, and joy. The problem many people face isn't that they don't want to move, it's that they don't know where to start. Maybe exercise feels overwhelming, or maybe past attempts at getting active led to soreness or frustration. But movement doesn't have to mean going to the gym or pushing yourself to exhaustion. It can start with something as simple as a walk around the block, stretching in the morning, or dancing to your favorite song in the kitchen. The key is to make movement a natural part of your daily life. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Stand up and stretch every hour if you spend a lot of time sitting. Do gentle yoga or Tai Chi to improve flexibility and circulation. Even activities like gardening, cleaning, or playing with grandchildren count, because every bit of movement keeps the body engaged and active. The hardest part is getting started. When you've been inactive for a long time, your body resists change. The first few days of movement might feel uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Soon, you start noticing small changes: more energy, better sleep, improved mood, and less stiffness. Over time, these small changes turn into bigger transformations, and you start feeling stronger, lighter, and more in control of your body again. And here's something to think about. Movement isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. It's about maintaining independence, having the strength to do the things you love, and feeling good in your own body every single day. So, if you've been feeling tired, unmotivated, or stuck in a cycle of inactivity, this is your sign to start moving again. Because the best version of your life isn't found in sitting still. It's found in motion. There's a voice inside your head that you listen to more than anyone else. It's there when you wake up in the morning, when you make decisions, when you look in the mirror, when you reflect on your past, and when you think about the future. But here's the question. Is that voice your biggest supporter or your harshest critic? For many people, especially as they get older, that voice becomes something destructive. Instead of encouragement, it whispers doubt. Instead of reassurance, it brings up past mistakes. Instead of reminding you of your strengths, it focuses on your flaws. And the worst part, most people don't even realize how much damage it's doing. Negative self-talk is one of the most powerful forces shaping your confidence, your happiness, and even your actions. The way you speak to yourself determines how you see yourself. And when that voice is full of criticism, comparison, and doubt, it slowly chips away at your self-worth until you start believing every negative thing it tells you. It happens in subtle ways. You try something new, but the voice says, "You're too old for this." You make a mistake, and instead of letting it go, you hear, "You always mess things up." You look in the mirror, and instead of seeing a person who has lived, learned, and grown, all you hear is, "You're not as good as you used to be." At first, these thoughts seem harmless, just passing criticisms, fleeting moments of insecurity. But over time, they become a pattern, a belief system. And eventually, they start controlling your decisions, your confidence, and even your ability to find joy in life. The truth is, you would never speak to a loved one the way you speak to yourself. You wouldn't tell a friend, "You're not good enough." You wouldn't tell a child, "You're too old to try." You wouldn't look at someone you care about and pick apart their every flaw. So why do you allow yourself to do it? Most people think that negative self-talk is just a habit, something that happens automatically. But what if you could change that voice? What if, instead of tearing yourself down, your inner dialogue became something that lifted you up? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to the things you tell yourself. Notice the words you use when you think about yourself, your abilities, your body, your past, and your future. Would you say those things to someone you love? If not, then they don't belong in your mind either. Next, challenge those thoughts. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. When you hear yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," ask yourself, "Says who?" When you think, "It's too late for me," remind yourself that countless people have reinvented themselves at every stage of life. Your thoughts are not facts. They are just stories you've told yourself for so long that you started believing them. And then, rewrite the script. If your inner voice has spent years criticizing you, it's time to train it to speak with kindness. Start small. Replace "I'm not good at this" with "I'm learning." Replace "I'll never be happy" with "I deserve happiness." Replace "I'm too old to change" with "Every day is a new chance." This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that your mind is your home, and you deserve to live in a place that feels safe, encouraging, and supportive. Imagine how much more confident you'd feel if that inner voice stopped fighting against you and started working with you. Imagine waking up in the morning and hearing, "Today is a new opportunity." Imagine looking in the mirror and thinking, "I am worthy of kindness, just as I am." Imagine making a mistake and responding with, "I'm human, and I can learn from this," instead of "I always fail." You have the power to change the way you speak to yourself. You have the ability to make your mind a place that builds you up instead of tearing you down. And when you do, everything in your life starts to change. Because confidence, happiness, and success all start from the same place: how you see yourself. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to acknowledge that you deserve better. From yourself, for yourself. And if you're ready to start changing that inner voice, hit like and subscribe. Because the way you speak to yourself shapes your entire life. You go to bed every night hoping for rest, but wake up feeling just as exhausted as the day before. Maybe you toss and turn, unable to quiet your mind. Maybe you fall asleep quickly, but wake up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body refuses to rest. Or maybe you think you're getting enough sleep, Yet every morning feels like a battle to find the energy to start the day. The truth is, poor sleep habits are silently draining your mood, motivation, and overall well-being, whether you realize it or not. Sleep isn't just about resting, it's the foundation for everything else in life. Your energy, your emotions, your focus, your ability to handle stress, and even your physical health all depend on how well you sleep. Yet so many people treat sleep like an afterthought, something they'll catch up on later, as if the body can store rest like a bank account. But that's not how it works. When sleep is consistently poor, the effects start to add up. And before you know it, you're running on fumes, struggling to get through the day without realizing why everything feels harder than it should. Lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it rewires your brain. When you're sleep-deprived, your brain's ability to regulate emotions weakens, making you more sensitive to stress, anxiety, and negative thoughts. Small inconveniences feel like major problems, motivation disappears, and even simple tasks start to feel overwhelming. That's why everything seems worse when you're exhausted, because your brain literally can't function at full capacity. And it's not just your mood that suffers. Poor sleep affects your physical health too. Studies show that sleep deprivation increases the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, and even memory loss. When you don't sleep enough, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone, which leads to inflammation, weakens your immune system, and makes it harder to lose weight or maintain energy levels. Your body never fully recovers, and over time, the damage builds up. So why do so many people struggle with sleep? It's not just about time, it's about quality. You could be in bed for 8 hours, but if your sleep is interrupted, shallow, or out of sync with your body's natural rhythm, you'll still wake up feeling drained. And in today's world, many hidden habits are destroying sleep quality without people realizing it. One of the biggest culprits? Screen time before bed. The blue light from phones, TVs, and computers suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. Even if you feel tired, your brain is still wired, making it harder to fall into deep, restorative sleep. That's why scrolling through your phone at night, even for just a few minutes, can leave you feeling exhausted the next day. Another common problem? Irregular sleep schedules. Many people stay up late, wake up at different times every day, or try to catch up on sleep over the weekend, throwing off their body's internal clock. But the body thrives on routine. When your sleep schedule is unpredictable, your body never fully knows when to rest, leading to lighter, less effective sleep. And then there's stress and overthinking. If your mind races at night, replaying the day's worries or making mental to-do lists, your body might be in bed, but your brain is wide awake. Sleep requires a sense of calm and relaxation, yet many people go to bed carrying the weight of the entire day with them, making it nearly impossible to fully shut down. The good news? Better sleep isn't just possible, it's within your control. Small, intentional changes can transform how you sleep and, in turn, how you feel throughout the day. Creating a consistent bedtime routine, reducing screen exposure before bed, keeping your room cool and dark, and practicing relaxation techniques like deep breathing or meditation can all improve sleep quality. Even simple habits like getting morning sunlight, limiting caffeine in the afternoon, and moving your body during the day can help reset your sleep cycle. The difference between living fully and just getting through the day often comes down to something as simple as sleep. When you prioritize rest, everything else in life starts to feel easier. Your mind is clearer, your energy is stronger, and your motivation returns. So if you've been feeling constantly tired, unmotivated, or emotionally drained, ask yourself, are you truly giving your body the sleep it needs? And if you've struggled with sleep before, I want to hear from you. What's one thing that's helped you sleep better? Drop a comment below and let's share ideas, because everyone deserves to wake up feeling rested and ready for the day. There's a feeling that creeps in when life becomes routine, predictable, and directionless. It's not always obvious at first. It starts as a quiet sense of restlessness, a thought in the back of your mind that something is missing. Then, as the days blend into each other, the feeling grows. You wake up, go through the motions, and wonder why everything feels a little emptier than it used to. Many people assume that this is just a normal part of life, especially as they get older. They tell themselves that they should be content, that they've done what they needed to do, and that maybe this is just how things are supposed to be. But deep down, there's a lingering thought. Is this really it? The truth is, one of the biggest reasons people feel unhappy, unmotivated, and stuck is a lack of purpose. Not having a clear reason to get up in the morning, no goal to work toward, nothing to look forward to. It slowly drains the joy out of life. Purpose isn't just about having a job or a big life-changing mission. It's about having something that gives your days meaning, something that keeps you engaged, excited, and fulfilled. When you don't have purpose, everything starts to feel like a chore. You lose motivation, small problems feel bigger, and it becomes harder to find happiness in the little things. You might find yourself spending more time in front of the TV, scrolling through your phone, or avoiding things that once brought you joy. Because without purpose, even simple activities start to feel pointless. This feeling isn't just mental. Science has shown that people with a sense of purpose live longer, have lower stress levels, and maintain better cognitive function as they age. Purpose isn't just about emotional well-being. It directly impacts physical health, energy levels, and overall longevity. But here's the good news. It's never too late to find purpose again. No matter where you are in life, no matter how long you felt lost, you can rediscover meaning. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Purpose can come from the smallest things. A hobby, a relationship, a challenge, a new experience. It's about finding something that excites you, something that makes you want to wake up and engage with life again. For some, purpose comes from learning. Picking up a new skill, taking a class, or exploring a topic that has always intrigued you can reignite a sense of curiosity and growth. When you're learning, you're evolving, and that feeling alone can bring back excitement. For others, purpose comes from helping others. Volunteering, mentoring, supporting a cause, or simply being there for someone who needs guidance can create a profound sense of fulfillment. Feeling useful, needed, and valued by others is one of the most powerful sources of happiness. And sometimes, purpose comes from challenging yourself. Setting a goal, whether it's physical, creative, or personal, gives you something to work toward. A goal doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. It just has to matter to you. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that if they don't already have purpose, they never will. But purpose isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. It's about actively choosing to engage with life instead of just letting the days pass by. If you've been feeling stuck, empty, or unsure of what's next, this is your wake-up call. You are not meant to just exist. You are meant to thrive, to grow, to find joy in something that excites you. There is always something new to explore, always a reason to keep moving forward. And if this message resonates with you, don't keep waiting for change to happen. Take action now. Like and subscribe, because your journey to a more meaningful life starts with the choices you make today. You wake up feeling sluggish, your mind foggy, your body heavy. The day hasn't even started, and yet you already feel drained. Maybe you tell yourself it's just a bad night's sleep, or that it's stress. But deep down, you can't remember the last time you felt truly energized, focused, and in control of your mood. What if I told you that what you eat plays a bigger role in your mental and emotional well-being than you ever realized? Food isn't just fuel. It's the foundation for how you feel every single day. The problem is, many people unknowingly sabotage their mood, energy, and motivation by eating foods that slowly drain them, both physically and mentally. Processed foods, sugar-loaded snacks, artificial additives. These things don't just affect your waistline. They directly impact your brain chemistry, your energy levels, and your ability to handle stress. When your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs, your brain struggles to function properly. You become more prone to anxiety, depression, irritability, and mental exhaustion. It's not just in your head. Your diet is shaping your emotions in ways you may not even realize. One of the biggest culprits? Blood sugar imbalances. When you eat highly processed sugary foods, your blood sugar spikes, giving you a temporary boost of energy, but then crashes, leaving you feeling exhausted, irritable, and craving more junk food to get back to that high. This roller coaster effect isn't just bad for your body. It wreaks havoc on your mood, making it harder to stay emotionally stable throughout the day. Then there's inflammation. Many processed foods are loaded with artificial chemicals, unhealthy fats, and excessive amounts of sugar that cause chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation doesn't just lead to physical issues like joint pain or digestive problems, it's also linked to depression and brain fog. When your body is in a constant state of internal stress from poor nutrition, your mind suffers too. And let's talk about gut health. Your gut isn't just responsible for digestion, it's actually connected directly to your brain. The bacteria in your gut produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that regulate mood and motivation. When your gut is unhealthy due to a poor diet, your brain chemistry becomes imbalanced, leading to low energy, increased anxiety, and even depressive symptoms. But here's the good news. You can completely transform the way you feel simply by making better food choices. Small changes in your diet can result in noticeable improvements in your mood, focus, and overall energy levels. Start by cutting back on processed foods and refined sugars. Instead of reaching for packaged snacks, opt for whole, nutrient-dense foods that actually fuel your body. Focus on protein, healthy fats, fiber, and complex carbohydrates to keep your blood sugar stable and your brain functioning at its best. Increase your intake of omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like salmon, flax seeds, and walnuts. These fats are essential for brain health and have been shown to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. If you've been struggling with mood swings or low energy, adding more omega-3s to your diet can make a huge difference. And don't forget about hydration. Many people walk around chronically dehydrated, not realizing that even mild dehydration can lead to fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Drinking enough water each day is one of the simplest ways to support both your body and mind. Eating well isn't about restriction or following complicated diets. It's about giving your body what it actually needs to function at its best. The difference between feeling exhausted and unmotivated versus feeling energized and ready to take on the day often comes down to the choices you make at every meal. If you've ever noticed a connection between what you eat and how you feel, share your experience in the comments. What foods make you feel your best and which ones drain your energy? Let's talk about it, because your mood is too important to leave in the hands of unhealthy food. You wake up, go through the same motions, drink the same coffee, eat the same breakfast, take the same route, and do the same things you've done for months, maybe even years. The days start blending into each other, and before you realize it, time is slipping away in a cycle of repetition. Everything feels predictable, safe, and familiar. But deep down, something is missing. At first, routines bring comfort. They provide structure, a sense of control. But when life becomes too structured, too repetitive, too predictable, it starts to feel empty. Living on autopilot doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks up on you. You get comfortable in your habits, tell yourself that this is just the way life is, and before you know it, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and that spark you once had, it starts to fade. The problem isn't routine itself. It's when routine replaces excitement. When every day starts feeling like a copy of the one before, when there's nothing new to look forward to, when curiosity, adventure, and spontaneity get replaced by the same familiar cycle, that's when life starts feeling dull. And here's the scariest part. You don't even notice it happening. You tell yourself you're just being practical. You convince yourself you don't need anything new, that you're content, that maybe this is just what happens as you get older. But deep inside, there's a small voice whispering, "Is this really it?" The truth is, your brain is wired for novelty. It thrives on new experiences, challenges, and unpredictability. When you stop introducing new things into your life, your brain stops producing the chemicals that make you feel excited, motivated, and engaged. This is why, when life becomes too routine, it can lead to feelings of emptiness, boredom, and even low-level depression. It's not because life has lost its magic, it's because you've stopped inviting magic in. So what's the solution? It's not about throwing away all routine, it's about breaking patterns in small but meaningful ways. Doing something new, no matter how small, shakes your brain out of autopilot and reminds you that life still has surprises waiting for you. Take a different route home. Try a new type of food. Say yes to an invitation you'd normally decline. Learn something new, even if it seems silly. Challenge yourself to talk to someone new, visit a place you've never been, or break a habit that's keeping you stuck. These moments of unpredictability inject energy back into your days and remind you that life isn't meant to be lived in repetition. And if the thought of change makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself this: what's scarier, stepping into the unknown or spending the rest of your life in a loop that never changes? You weren't meant to just go through the motions. You weren't meant to spend your days watching the clock, waiting for something different to happen. Because if you're not careful, one day you'll wake up and realize that life didn't get boring. You just stopped showing up for it.